Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. As schools are back in session, let's take a look at some of the initiatives the government already has or plans to implement to enhance the learning environment this year. Significant investments are being made in education and supporting services such as transportation.
There are some areas in Jamaica where there are no public buses, which could do very well with public buses. And so we're going to be looking at those areas as well, including the establishment of a dedicated bus service for children, particularly in rural areas.
And more students are getting longer learning hours as additional schools transition away from the shift system.
So I want to assure you that we are committed to seeing this through until every school on the list has made the switch.
And even more is happening to effect radical transformation in the education sector. And it's all being covered in Jamaica Magazine. We have a fantastic lineup ahead for today, so stay with us. We'll be right back after the news.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, September 6, 2024. Government has reaffirmed its commitment to improving the infrastructure of the island's courts with this week's handing over of the newly refurbished St. Anne Family Court. The facility was retrofitted by the Justice Ministry at a cost of $90.87 million. It features updated courtrooms, judges' chambers, office spaces, welfare and restroom facilities, a lobby, and child-friendly waiting and holding areas. Portfolio Minister Delroy Chuck says even more court rehabilitation is coming in short order.
So, certainly over the next few months, we have the resources. We are going to make sure that the courts are properly maintained, that the air conditions work, the elevators work, all the various electronic equipment work, because it is appropriate that justice should be considered and delivered in a convenient and comfortable surroundings.
Meanwhile, Minister Delroy Chuck is expressing concern that restorative justice officers are not being sufficiently utilized by the judicial system. He says there needs to be greater integration of restorative justice practices in court proceedings.
And we have trained here, judges, several restorative justice officers. They're underutilized because not that many cases come from the courts. We're hoping more of these cases will come from the community. Just like mediation, and I must explain, restorative justice is not mediation. It is something that is oftentimes, mixed up. Restorative justice is really where there's an abuse, an offense.
He says the ministry will be engaging with parish court judges to explain the differences so they can determine which cases require restorative justice or ought to be addressed through mediation.
So the Ministry of Justice will be working closely with the judiciary to ensure that we get what Chief called therapeutic justice. Restorative justice, victim services, and child diversion and drug cases. All of these we want to work closely so that when people come to the court and after a period of time they can be healed and they can start restoring relationship amongst themselves and within the community.
The Justice Minister was speaking at Wednesday's official handover ceremony for the refurbished St. Anne Family Court. More than 163,000 persons, or about 6.3% of the Jamaican population who have a visual disability, are expected to benefit significantly from the country becoming a party to the Marrakesh Treaty. Jamaica acceded to the Marrakesh Treaty to facilitate access to published works for persons who are blind, visually impaired, or otherwise print disabled on August 28. It calls for the country to modify its copyright laws to allow blind, visually impaired, and other print disabled persons to create accessible copies of published works without needing permission from copyright holders. Executive Director of the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, Lily Claire Bellamy, explains that this must be done through authorized bodies.
These are the bodies that are legally entitled and allowed to facilitate the cross-border exchange. So it's not just the ordinary person who can do the cross-border exchange. They have to go through one of these authorized bodies. So it is a system that has parameters in place. So it's not just a free riding system, but it is a safe system so that those who need to get access will have access.
During a recent JIS think tank, Industry Minister Senator Aubin Hill reaffirmed his position that it will enhance the education and employability of this group within society.
Less than 1% of persons with disabilities in Jamaica are employed, and individuals with disabilities are significant, they face significant barriers to education, primarily due to the lack of accessibility of material for them to learn from. This treaty represents a significant advancement in promoting inclusivity and access to knowledge for one of the most vulnerable groups in our society.
Persons can now make payments to acquire their police record through Tax Administration Jamaica, TAJ's mobile app found on the Google Play Store. The app previously only allowed for persons to pay property tax, fitness fees, and traffic tickets.
Very easy for you to follow the steps in making your payments. Once that is done, the application will actually send you a notification to say that you have successfully done your transaction. And then following that, you will actually get two notices. You'll actually get one from your bank, from the application, to say that your bank transaction has been completed. And then the second one that you will get is from Tax Administration's application now, which will say that you have been successful, and you will actually get what we call a statement of payment with a reference number on it, and that's the reference number that you will use here forward.
Signing up is free and is currently available on Android phones and tablets. The National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, will be conducting cleanup activities at two prominent locations for this year's International Coastal Cleanup Day observation. This annual global event, which champions the preservation of oceans and coastlines, will take place on September 21 at the Palisadoes Shipwreck in Port Royal. Then on September 22, they will be at the Half Moon Bay Beach in St. Catherine. Activities start at 7 a.m. on both days. NEPA is inviting members of the public to come out and help remove debris and litter from the shores to help safeguard the country's marine ecosystems. To register or obtain more information, please reach out to NEPA's representative, Ebonique Blair, at eboniqueblair@nepa.gov.jm or by calling 876-754-7540, extension 3118. Both group and individual registrations are encouraged. And finally, a floral tribute will be held on Saturday at National Heroes Park in Kingston to commemorate the 105th anniversary of the birth of the Honorable Louise Bennett Coverley. The Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, JCDC, is organizing the event, along with other activities happening across various parishes. Director of Events Management and Production at the JCDC, Gregory Sims, explains why the cultural icon, lovingly called Miss Lou, continues to be worthy of such recognition.
The way she connected with social issues at the time, the way she used comedy to express important emotions and stories, and the way she just gave us good commentary is very important in us identifying ourselves as Jamaicans within the world and connecting with each other.
Ms. Lou was born on September 7, 1919 and passed away on July 26, 2006 in Canada. She was buried at the National Heroes Park in a section reserved for cultural icons. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Money are your problem, car are your problem. Hey, whatever the problem is, just let it go. because stress is not a flex. A quick way to let go the stress is to find someone you can share your concerns with. And if you can't do that, then find other ways to release your stress, because stress is not a flex.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness has embarked on a journey to help our youth let go the stress, installing wellness benches in schools across Jamaica, setting them up as safe spaces for communication about mental challenges. If you can't find a seat on the bench, get a hold of this exercise to help you alleviate the stress.
First of all, I want you to think about the worst thing that offends you and upset you and you're uncertain about. Just think about it. And then, after 3, I want to transfer the stress from the brain into the ball, and it has to show on your face. 1, 2, 3.
Our farmers have been working tirelessly to support Jamaica's food security. Recently, yam farmers have had to adopt new management strategies to address the disease impacting our Renta, Negro, Lucy, and sweet yams. Our next feature has the details.
Yam rust, a fungal affliction newly detected on the island, threatens Jamaica's diverse yam varieties, including the popular Negro, Lucy, Renta, and sweet yams.
It starts off as some tiny yellow spots on the leaves, affecting the leaves and the vines. And what it does is that these spots, the fungus then begins to sporulate, and you get these orange pustules on the leaves, and that in turn spreads, can be spread via wind, machinery, can be spread with water from the raindrops, etc., and then can go forth and infect other leaves.
I specifically work with diseases, pathogens, and so in around March of this year, February, March of this year, we received a sample from one of our RADA officers, a yam leaf. Upon further inspection and also diagnosis revealed that it could potentially be yam rust in Jamaica.
The detection of this fungal foe has sparked an urgent response from Jamaica's agricultural community, led by the government.
The moment the extension staff got hold of this fungus on the plants, the message was sent to RADA, the borders, and the plant quarantine divisions. We robustly create a team to check on it. We have found out that it is a fungus which affects farm and affects yam island-wide, and as such, it has been identified that this fungus must be treated by fungal treatment.
From there, approximately $9 million was allocated to RADA to purchase chemicals and equipment to assist with suppressing the fungus.
So we actioned our RADA officers to do surveillance. They went out in the field. We did an island-wide surveillance, and as a result of that, we were able to identify some of the yam varieties that have been affected by the yam rust. One of our high yam production areas, Trelawney, we got a call, we visited, and we ID'd a yam plot there, and we set up an experimental plot there. We also have another demonstration. We have a demonstration plot in Bullhead, Clarendon. So we have 2 different sites which we are regularly monitoring. At each site, as it relates to management, we are utilizing some of our conventional pesticides and also taking another sustainable approach using some of our biological chemicals as well, because, we're stepping away from our conventional pesticides. So stuff at chemicals with the active ingredients such as azoxystrobin, copper, mancozeb. We have been using chemicals that have a systemic mode of action, and preliminary observations, majority of the pesticides are actually controlling the spread of the disease. The use of pesticides actually aids in slowing down the dispersal by drying out the fungus. To put it in simpler terms, right, to affect it as it relates to decreased spread and control on the yam leaves. We're seeing where spores, the yam spores, the fungus on some leaves, no longer spreading.
Despite the challenges, there is hope. Yellow yam, a major export crop, appears to be less affected by yam rust.
Our most popular resistant variety that we're seeing is the yellow yam, and you know that it is our high export crop, right? One of our major export crops. And we're so happy, we're so thankful that we're not seeing it affected by the yam rust.
With support from the government and ongoing research, there's hope that Jamaica can mitigate the impact of yam rust. Farmers are encouraged to stay connected with RADA and use available resources to protect their crops.
Hi everyone, let's talk granting aid. Eligible targeted loan applicants may receive a non-repayable granting aid of $60,000. These funds can be used for school-related expenses such as traveling, buying food, housing, or purchasing a laptop, for example. Eligibility is determined by the financial circumstances of applicants and the availability of grants. Apply early at slbja.com and be one of 4,200 beneficiaries of our granting aid.
Thank you for staying with us. As we discussed earlier, the government is actively working to enhance the lives of its citizens by expanding educational and training opportunities from the ground up. Here's a recap of what to expect as we move towards the end of 2024.
Affirming his insistence that Jamaica must now focus more on increasing productivity, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced a slew of initiatives to upskill young persons and support business development. Mr. Holness was making his contribution to the 2024-2025 budget debate and indicated that these would be implemented by the Heart NSTA Trust. Through the Community Action for Rewarding Engagement Care initiative, Heart will seek out and engage people who are not working or enrolled in a training program. 30 persons drawn from each of the 63 constituencies will receive a stipend of $13,000 per week for the duration of their training and a monthly transportation grant of $15,000. This grant will be tied to their attendance at training.
Heart will be proactive in finding you and bringing you to the well of training. If our economy is to grow, we need every able-bodied man and woman who is able and capable of working to join the labor force. A specialized team in Heart will go to their houses or meet them on the corner if necessary to engage with them and enroll them into the program that will enhance their employability.
Heart will also roll out a partnership with the JDF for additional training and character development through the Jamaica National Service Corps. Another initiative is an accelerated pre-apprenticeship program with construction firms to develop employability skills and technical competencies. It will include a 7-month immersive, on-site training, on-the-job mentorship and assessment and certification.
This creative approach will make the training in construction more aligned to industry needs, and we will be able to put persons to work in a shorter time frame.
Another layer of skill development and certification in construction will include HOPE participants through on-the-job training with the National Housing Trust. During the 2-year apprenticeship period, participants will receive a stipend. The program is in partnership with Heart and other development partners.
Another boost, Madam Speaker, for the labor supply of the construction sector is that the NHD will also expand its scholarship program to provide tuition at a maximum of $1 million per annum per student for up to 10 students at the tertiary level pursuing careers in civil engineering, construction management, construction technology, architecture, urban planning, and building technologies and other related fields.
The Heart NSTA Trust will also launch the Skills on Demand portal, connecting skilled professionals with potential employers and clients.
If you need a plumber to fix a leak at your house, you will be able to go on the Skills on Demand portal and identify plumbing professionals who have registered and who have been verified as having training and certification from Heart. Skilled professionals will be able to advertise their skills, their previous employers' ratings, and their current location to potential employers and clients.
Mr. Holness says potential employers and clients will also have the ability to post specific job openings for individuals with the required skills. Having removed tuition fees in 2023 for all Heart programs up to level 4, the government is incentivizing successful students. Prime Minister Holness says this is to facilitate more self-employed and young people who are entrepreneurial. From April 1 this year, each successful graduate of a level 4 trade program is in line to receive a grant of $50,000 to purchase tools of their trade and move to the next stage of their career. Path beneficiaries and wards of the state will receive $75,000.
Additionally, starting next financial year, the Heart NSTA Trust will open a special grant facility of up to $100,000 for Heart certified trainees who have registered a trade or business that has been operating for more than a year. The beneficiaries will also be assisted in refining their business plans, executing marketing activities, further capacity building, and other forms of technical support.
Mr. Holness announced further that come June this year, the Development Bank of Jamaica will introduce the Tradesperson Ownership Opportunity Loan Tool Program. This will allow small contractors to access up to $500,000 to assist with purchasing or upgrading their tools.
So technically, Madam Speaker, a graduate could get 50,000 grant and then go to DBJ and get another loan for 500,000 to buy the tools necessary to start off their business. These grants and technical assistance are a deliberate effort to provide our trainees and small businesses with meaningful support to increase their productivity and grow their businesses.
Going even further, the government is making available a pool of $200 million in tuition support. This will benefit approximately 1,000 tertiary students who are in good academic standing with their institutions but are having financial challenges. The allocation comes on the heels of the removal of the guarantor requirement for student loan effective April 1.
This support will be administered through the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the CDF, where each constituency will be allocated approximately $3 million and each beneficiary can get a maximum grant of $200,000.
The Prime Minister says this move is to provide access to higher education and secure a pool of competent and qualified prospective workers for the labor market.
This administration is very serious about giving our students the opportunity to access higher education and skills as we seek to move from a low-wage economy to a high-productivity economy.
How am I going to go to college? I can't find anybody to stand security for me. I mean, I could ask my aunt, but she's likely not going to want to do it. Let me ask her just in case. Auntie, do you know of anybody I could use to stand as guarantor for my student loan? I'm really struggling here.
Hey sis, what are you stressing about now?
Tell time is winding down and I need to find someone to stand as guarantor for my student loan. But everyone I ask can't seem to do it, and I don't know what to do now.
So hold on. You didn't know that the Students' Loan Bureau doesn't require a guarantor for the loan application?
Are you serious? That's amazing.
Yes, effective April 1, 2024, the Students' Loan Bureau no longer requires applicants to have guarantors. This applies to all SLB loan products. With SLB, you can make your dreams a reality. Visit our website at slbja.com for more details and follow all our social media platforms to be in the loop.
You've heard the plans and seen the developments. The government is enhancing education and making it more accessible for everyone. Access is being secured on many fronts, and transportation is among the key areas.
We must now focus on addressing the pain points that you, as parents and students, experience in your everyday life. One area that the government will be focusing on heavily is on reducing the cost of living, getting more buses in the public transportation system with the structure of persons who can't pay, persons who we need to target for support with subsidies, like students going to school, the elderly. This is a way in which we reduce the cost to you, the parent.
Investing in education and improving access to transportation are crucial steps in ensuring that every student has the opportunity to reach their full potential. And this is critical to the island's long-term development goal of making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, do business, and retire in paradise.
Secondary students, it's time to get creative for the JIS Heritage Poster Competition 2024. Whether you're a whiz with digital design or love to illustrate, this is your chance to shine. Design a poster using this year's exciting theme, Out of Many, One People. Prizes are up for grabs, so bring your A-game. Submit your masterpiece between September 2 and October 31. For all the details and the guidelines, head to jis.gov.jm. Don't miss out. Show Jamaica your talent and create something amazing.
We've reached the end of our program. Get a recap of everything you saw here and more on our website, jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.